What is up, entrepreneurs? Welcome to the Fun Friday camera chat. I'm super pumped that you are here. Super pumped to be here with you. Happy Friday. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I know some of you guys are getting snow where you are. We got some fake snow that came through, so just enough to make a mess. But keep the roads clear, but otherwise everything is great, gravy, and doing wonderful. I hope you are as well. So tonight's stream is just going to be a pretty simple stream. We're not doing anything spectacular, and we're just having fun. Now, I am noticing a bit of a delay, so hopefully that doesn't impact things too much here. Let me see what we got going on here. But otherwise, let's see here. We should be good to go. But I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. As always, if you guys have any questions on the chat, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, I appreciate you being here. What's up, Michael? Michael saying, I did not want to miss you today. Hey, man, I appreciate you being here as always. Dr. T, what's going on, Drew? Good to see you. Just a bit choppy. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about. It looks like it's catching up now. So it looks like it's up and it's running a little better. So yeah, I'm not sure what that's about, so we'll see. But so tonight we're talking about some camera stuff. You guys know one of my favorite things is to talk about some camera stuff. So as you guys know, I am a bit fanatical when it comes to that, because I think one of the most important things about entrepreneurship in the modern day, aka today, is being able to have your business visible. If you are not visible, then you're basically doing business in the dark. If you're not able to communicate your message and do the things that you need to do, be comfortable on camera, develop a community around whatever it is that you're wanting, whatever product or anything like that, then you are completely missing the boat. I don't care what industry you're in, video is for everyone. So, I believe your name is Carlos. I try to remember your real name. What's going on, Matematica Humanista? I believe it's Carlos. Welcome, Carlos. Good to see you. Glad you guys are here. So, I wanted to talk about some camera stuff today. And like I was saying, if you're not visible, if your business is not visible, if whatever, even if it's not a business, if what you're doing is not visible, you're doing it in the dark. Nobody is seeing what you're doing. And if what you're doing is so fantastic and great, it deserves to be on video. So it's not just a want, it deserves to be on video, truly. So with that being said, real quick, I want to jump into some quick deals, and then I'm going to exit out of my internet, and hopefully that will help, because I always push this poor little Mac to its limits. And so let's jump over to SonyAlphaRumors.com. And so I did a stream about 3 days ago where I was talking about some deals that were coming up that I had found out about. And so there are like CanonRumors.com, Sony Alpha Rumors, M43Rumors.com. So like all the different, typical brands or whatever. Not necessarily brands, but every camera manufacturer has some kind of rumor site. And for the most part, they're pretty accurate. And so this is Sony Alpha Rumors. This is one that just appeared yesterday that is something that I think is very awesome. Now, most people don't know, but I was choosing when I had the Canon M6, I was deciding between moving to Sony or some other brand, but I was highly, highly, highly considering getting the Sony A7R2. The A73 hadn't come out at the time. A7R3 hadn't come out at the time. But I was highly considering getting the A7R2 until I looked at the price of Sony lenses, and those were very expensive. And so it just was not where it was at. Anyway, but fantastic, freaking fantastic deal happening right now on the Sony A6000. Link to everything in the description that I'll be talking about. And so they have this where the deal is for $598. And if we head on over to Amazon, I am an affiliate for Honey, which is the Honey Chrome app, which is what you're seeing right here, where even though this is already discounted to $598, if I was getting ready to buy this through Honey, which is free, but it helps me get deals. And I did a video on that, and I'll link it up in the description after the stream. And if you're watching this on a replay, it should already be linked up above. But instead of getting it at whatever typical price, I can get it for cheaper by using this. And what this will do with Honey will tell me, okay, well, after taxes or whatever, and is it fulfilled by Amazon and Prime shipping and all of that stuff, which I do get Amazon Prime, then it'll tell me, well, after taxes, it's really going to be $655 if you didn't have Honey and if you just bought it outright. Even if a different seller, see, like it's telling me, I can buy this camera from a different Amazon seller and I can get it way cheaper. So I actually only pay $598. Still get it fulfilled by Amazon, still get Prime shipping, and it still will be by the 30-day whatever return thing and all that good stuff. So I would highly encourage you to check out Honey. Like I said, links down below in the description if you want to check that out. This is one of my major hacks when it comes to anything that I want. My softbox lights that I use and then I have done a video on, I got those at a discount. And it was at the time I was buying those that I was trying out Honey. And I'm like, oh, snap, this really works. And so this not only comes with one lens, it comes with a 16 to 50 millimeter and a 55 to 210. So you get the camera. Now it's a little bit older, granted, but Sony is really doing a great job. And if for whatever reason that's a manufacturer that you want to go to, then just know that those are on sale right now. Sony Alpha Rumors also was sharing how the other deal, well, I guess I don't have to go back to that page because I shared this earlier in the week in the other stream, which is that they are also saying that the A73, which everybody's fanatical about the A73 right now, but the A72, which is still a great camera, and that the A7 series cameras in general created waves. If you're completely concerned about low light, you're going to be behind the camera more in front of the camera, or you don't care about a flip out screen or whatever. And I think this one had like a hack or something to go with it that I believe people were discussing that would let you record unlimited. So you don't have to deal with the 30 minutes or whatever. Excuse me. And so that way you get that at a deal. And then also you can see right there that Honey has saved me $95.94 if I wanted to go with this deal, where this is already the regular discounted price through Amazon for $9.98. But if I was going to use Honey and get this, and I'm telling you, whether it's a journal, whether it's a phone case, whether it's a memory card, I always check Honey. And I guess at some point I'll do an updated video here soon about some other awesome features when it comes to this, because I can add this to my watch list to say, hey, I want to watch this item. Let me know when it drops below $800. Let me know when it drops below, or it gets below $850 or something like that. And they'll send me an email saying, hey, this item that you had on your drop list, it's dropped below the price now. So that's the thing. So this is telling me that tax would be $95 on this one. So I'd really wind up paying like $1,000. Okay, I can go with a different Amazon seller. Now, unfortunately, with this one, it's telling me, it's not going to be fulfilled by Amazon. It's not Prime shipping, which just means it's probably by another small company, small camera company or whatever, and they'll ship it probably within a week instead of 2 days, which is still not terrible. So like they're telling me it'll arrive later instead of the 2-day shipping. So between the 16th and the 20th, not bad. If you've been waiting this long for a camera, for anything, it's like if you can save almost $100, it's kind of worth it. So that's a thing, and then you can go ahead and add it to the cart. And so like I said, I use Honey for a lot of stuff. And like I was saying, you can add it to your drop list so that you can say, hey, within a 60-day period, 90-day period, 120-day period, whatever, let me know when it gets below whatever price that I want. And then you can watch and do some different things like that. But some really, really cool stuff when it comes to that. Now, I just want to share that quick bit with you in case you are interested in Sony, or at some point you're thinking like, Canon's not going to do it for me. Panasonic definitely isn't going to do it for me. I really want to get into Sony. It's a great way, great budget-friendly way to get started with it. And then Danny from That One Camera Guy, his YouTube channel, he has extensive like tutorials and like video guides, much in a similar fashion, probably a little bit more in depth, since like the Sony system is a little bit more finicky, I guess. It's just different. So he has like a similar series or something thereabout for like the A6000, A6300, or just whatever. So if you're into Sony, I would definitely encourage you to check out that one, Camera Guy, because he has all of that. So that's out the way. Let's get to the meat and potatoes, because I just want to share those deals with you. They're on your radar. I've done my job. And so let me jump into the chat before we jump into the main topic for tonight. So I'm Michael. I am not going to post what you just said. You've been on standby for 2 hours. This is not a premiere, brother. Okay. Alrighty. So Carlos, Diana, how do you overcome the 30-minute video duration with the M50 to make a longer program? Do you use the C920? Yes, it's Carlos. Okay, you're the boss. Thank you, Carlos. See, I knew I remembered your name. All right, so the way that I get past the 30-minute recording limit, if I'm streaming, I do not use the HDMI port. And there's not it's only a recording limit when you actually like hit the record button to capture video to go onto a memory card. I'm just basically, I have the camera on right now, and it's just in a wake position or whatever. So the features for it to typically time out, for the screen to go out, or for the camera to go to sleep, or temporarily go off, or anything like that, as much as possible, every setting that will allow me to change that is in a disabled mode. And I'm using the USB connection that's built into the camera, and a free program, open source program, that lets me use just like the USB portion, and then I can stream that way. Because all that's doing is capturing what the camera is seeing, and like I can adjust settings, I could, change the ISO. All of those features are available to me. But most importantly, which is if you went through the HDMI port, the autofocus is not available. But as you can see there, it is available when you do it this way. So anybody that says the Canon M50 does not have clean HDMI has not obviously been aware of this way, or they just probably don't know it exists, because I literally had just found out that it exists. So that's how that works. Let's see here. So Michael's saying the A7S is nice. Yes, the A7S is their series of cameras, and that kind of gets into what we'll be talking about tonight. So the A7S camera series of cameras is the ones that are for video, specifically designed for video. The A7R lineup of cameras are those that are like that higher end camera that's specifically for has like the larger megapixel count in the sensor and all that extra other good stuff. It's for better resolution, essentially. And then the A7 series is just like A7 1, 2, or 3. Those are just like their entry-level full-frame cameras. So the A7S revolutionized everything with its low-light capabilities. I think it was probably, for what it cost, when you compare it to like cinema cameras and lenses and all that stuff, for what that Sony camera cost at launch, it was fantastic. It was incredible. Who's that? Film Riot, their channel, they did a video about it. It was awesome. Michael saying I guess you mean the A7 II is the bee's knees. Oh, sorry, I didn't know that's what you were saying. Wait a minute. Let me read the comments before I post them, because I want to be posting y'all conversations in the chat. But I'm glad you guys are talking. So, so you guys are saying you don't think there's a workaround for the 30-minute video limit on the M50. Okay, alrighty. So Drew is saying, I don't think that there is a workaround for the 30-minute recording limit. And then Carlos, you saying that you don't like that because you can't go for an hour or longer for seminars that you get disconnected. I completely get it. And so I try not to, because it's actually few cameras that do the unlimited recording that are like under $1,000, but it's getting closer now with these newer wave of cameras that are coming out. It's getting cheaper. So it's getting to the point, even $1,000, like everybody say $1,000, like that's cheap. Like, it's only like $300 to $400 that most people wind up going into foreclosure because they couldn't afford their mortgage. So to say $1,000 is just like cheap is not, like, it's some math off there. So it is a significant number. However, it's an investment number that you should be able to get a return on your investment at some point. What I would do, Carlos, because most cameras, more often than not, they have a 30 limit recording limit. What I would do, and I have done this when I had the M3 and the M6, if I was specifically recording something, if I'm speaking or if I'm recording somebody else that's speaking and maybe I'm taking pictures and I want the video as well, I will ask somebody, and I'll designate somebody to hit that record option for me in the next 30 minutes. When you see that it has stopped, automatically hit with somebody, and you can offer them, lunch or soda or a candy bar. Sometimes people are just nice and they'll just do it. I've not had to bribe anybody but my mother. Okay, she siphoned money out of me. She needs to be charged. Okay, but no, you can just ask them, hey, I want to take some pictures, or, hey, I'm going to do this talk. Can you go ahead and do this? And if it's something that you're doing, a talk that you're educated about, hey, I'll give you a free 30-minute coaching session just for watching the camera for me to make sure that it records or something like that. I know it's going to, it's only going to be, one time that you got to hit that button, and then that's the thing. Or because you got the Canon Connect app, if you are not going to be very far, I'm not sure what the distance length is for the M50, you'll have the Canon Connect app. That gives you full functionality to the camera, minus like the 720p, 120 frames per second or whatever. You can just have you up there, you're at the podium, and you're talking. You'll be able to see once it stops, and then you can just tap. Like if I have my phone right here, y'all can't see it, but I'm giving this presentation, and I can just hit the screen and tap the screen to continue recording from the app. Just check the distance length that it needs to be, but you can do that from the app. There are options that I'm still wanting to test one. I think I may order it and try it out this weekend because I do want to use the M50 for some presentations that I have upcoming and some workshops that'll be coming around in 2019. And I do want to record those. So I want to try one angle with the J85, try another angle with the M50 that's more close up so it can catch my face and stuff like that. So I'll be trying it like a 2-camera angle thing. The M50, actually, you know what? Hold on one second. All right, I'm back. So, got to get rearranged here. So what I was going to get for the M50 is essentially the same thing that I have for the J85, and this is the wall adapter. And so, and I already had one in my cart. I just wanted to make sure that was everything I wanted to order and make sure I got home so I could use honey. #truth session. But what this is like a dummy battery and an AC adapter. And the little door underneath the M50, it has like a little hole through it so that you can put the dummy battery in there and feed the cord through there and close the door completely. And then you're just sending direct power from the outlet, or even they have where you can switch it out and not have a wall outlet, but a USB, which is what I'm probably going to switch to for the M50 since I want that one to be a little bit more mobile. And I'll put my battery bank on top in a hot shoe, and then I will have the USB plugged into the camera and then have the dummy battery fed in through there. So that's something that I want to do, especially if I'm not near an outlet or whatever, then that's something that I'm going to try and stuff like that. So that's an option as well, but you can just use the app and kind of get around it that way. But you're saying you're thinking about buying the Canon XA15 camcorder? Make a promo on that. You know what? I cannot not recommend a camcorder because I look at those little cheap ones that are like $50 and $25 and stuff like that all the time, and I just wonder, like, as a 1080p camera, most of them now are 4K little cameras. It's like, how bad could it be? It can't be any worse than a phone or something like that. And they do have unlimited recording, so I may check one out. if I get around to that. All right, let me scroll down here. Let me try to catch up. Let me see. Is this app only Mac? So you talking about this program? Yes, this is Ecamm Live. It is only a Mac-based software. So that's the I don't even want to say an unfortunate thing, because it's really fantastic. I'm really enjoying the Mac-only programs like Final Cut Pro, like this one, which is more or less specifically why I got this Mac. I want to say Macintosh, but this MacBook Pro. So yeah. Alrighty. Let me scroll down. Okay, so you're saying I never heard about that. The dummy battery, yeah, it's out there. Let me I'll drop a link down below for the one that I'm looking at. I can't recommend it yet because I haven't tried it, but I have seen other people use it. I've watched other reviews, and it seems to go over well with other people. I just want to make sure I get the right setup that's right for me. And like I said, if I don't want to use the wall outlet portion, if I'm not near a wall, let's say it's a huge conference room and I want it like at the 4th row in the middle of the aisle, I don't want to be running an extension cord and, somebody knock the camera over, and you know how people can be, so I don't want to take any issues with that. But they do have, even for the G85 though, you can have it where you get a USB and DSLR video shooter. He's done different hookups like that, but essentially you got this part going into the camera, the USB bank, and the other AC adapter portion going in there, and you're good to go. And you got unlimited power. So my battery bank can last me up to 3 days, and just like constant charging. So it works. It'll work. And so I plan on using it. All right. So caught up on the chat. Fantastic. So purpose of today's live chat, it's all about the A73. Now, I'm going to test a theory here, or I'm going to share a theory. Now, if you are into cameras and all those things, like cameras and such, then you will enjoy this theory. So here's the deal. You have all of these different manufacturers. Everybody is missing something. You have Canon that will not do 4K right. For a long time, they just wouldn't do 4K at all. And they wouldn't do 4K right. So they give you this, but they wouldn't give you that. They give you this, but they wouldn't give you that. They released the M50, but then they put it in contrast autofocus. And if you guys watched my last video, then the contrast autofocus actually I think is worse on the M50 than it is on the G85. I think theirs is more accurate and it moves faster. And with the recent changes from the GH5 and the GH5S and the G9, I think they're getting better with it. So that's a thing. And then you have, but they have the flip out screen and good colors and cheap lenses and all kinds of great stuff. So, that's Canon. Then you got Panasonic. Autofocus, essentially overall for the brand as a whole, the autofocus sucks. Great lenses, small sensors, so not the best in low light. You will need to add light. Other than that, fantastic system. You got Sony, perfect essentially right now, no flip out screen. And then I don't even know really what's up with Olympus or anybody else. They're out of the Nikon is not a factor because it's like your grandfather's camera company. I'm not against them, but I don't really like them either. So I have nothing to say about them. But they're not. I don't think they're great for video. You can't go get like an old DSLR and it'd be like, oh, that'd be great. It has great something. Like I don't see anything really great about Nikon. But my opinion, my personal opinion. But where we are today, I think that Sony for the A7S III will flip the screen out. And here's why. They didn't release the camera already. This new A7000-ish type camera hasn't been released yet because everybody went to Photokina and they did their thing. And then Canon and Nikon released theirs ahead of the event, major event in the camera industry world and all that good stuff. And for a good majority of people on the spec sheet, the cameras were a big disappointment. They have their issues and they have their limitations, as it does all things. But as people try them more, it seems to be okay to great cameras. With that being said, that's their offering. They're not, Canon has their probably higher end camera that'll be coming out later on, which will probably be $4,000 or $5,000 or whatever. Nikon released their 2 cameras, one for photos, one for videos, essentially. Panasonic still hasn't given us any details on what's the deal with their cameras. They're going to release some. But the S1, S1R, or whatever they're called, the screen doesn't flip out all the way, so they're not on my radar for anything to buy. So all these cameras, essentially, in my mind, they kind of suck. Sony knows this. Sony has been super competitive. They will do what nobody else will do, which is make their mistakes out in the open. Just like all of their previous cameras or whatever, they all had some little issue or whatever, but they were fine with making their mistakes out in the open. And now they're at the point to where everybody else is behind them. Oh, and Fuji. I forgot to mention Fuji. Fuji, other than the flip-out screen with their X-T3, have done a lot of things right. And they have their Fuji X-H2 that will be coming out probably 2019. That is their designated video camera. Should be fantastic. However, they are the biggest competition. Panasonic and their features, Canon and Nikon are not really a big deal. Then you have Fuji and Sony. So we got, some play going on here. So it's more looking at what is Fuji going to do in the APS-C lineup, because they have really affordable cameras. And then you have them looking like, we don't want to just release something that's just like good enough, and then in 2 years we're still behind. So they have to stay ahead. The only thing they're missing is a flip out screen. I think they may do it for that reason alone, to go ahead and dispel the beliefs that we won't do it. I don't believe there is a patent on the flip out screen, because you see all those cheap Chinese cameras on Amazon where they don't worry about anything when it comes to a flip out screen. All of them do it. And that's why I think that they will flip it out. I think they're going to do it. What do they have to lose? Now, granted, they could release the camera and not have no flip out screen, and people will still buy it because it'll be fantastic. It'll be too good, essentially. I don't even think most people have the computers, the processing power, and the energy. Like, they don't have the systems for the most part, the large majority. I don't think they have the stuff to really handle all of what these cameras can do. Even some of the ones that kind of suck or whatever, I don't think for the most part the average person has, to handle 6K and 8K video. It's like, we want that stuff, and it is fantastic, but I don't think that, average person, or you buy the camera first and you see you don't have all the stuff, and then you're like, yeah, I probably should upgrade some things and look at some things differently or whatever. So, that's a thing. I am committed to making this MacBook, this ancient MacBook, so as a word, but it's so fantastic. I'm committed to making this work and not have it freeze up or whatever, but I probably will have to upgrade it simply because the processing systems or whatever. But I'm excited about it, and it's still going to be a great resource and tool. And then it'll kind of help future-proof some things as well. But even still, the fact that it contends with stuff right now, and I think Sony, them being in like a similar position, they don't want people to catch up to them. I think they're going to flip the screen. What else do they have to lose? I mean, you guys let me know. If you're into cameras and all that stuff, let me know in the chat. Do you think Sony will actually flip out the screen? And if they did, would you switch to Sony? So if you're watching this live or on the replay, let me know. I think that if they flip that screen, I'd be hard-pressed not to buy them as the next upgrade camera. They'd have to, I would want them to fix their menu and make it better, but I don't know if I'd switch, because the lenses are still expensive, but they're fantastic. But I don't think that I would, because it's just not, I don't know. I don't know. And I think they're redesigning the body of it, the shape of it, the ergonomics of it. I think they're changing some things. So I think they're really planning to make another slam dunk in the industry and make a wave, whereas Canon used to do that back in the day with the DSLRs that they were releasing. I think that Sony is adamant on keeping up. And then, not to mention that the GoPro Hero 7, Sony has that X3000 action camera, incredible, probably best in class image stabilization prior to the Hero 7 being released. So that's another small camera area where they just got outranked. And then Fuji is right there. Fuji is they're too close to the line. Fuji's too close to the line with them. Even though it's APS-C, they're too close to them, and like people are making the conscious decision of which one do I go to. So I think they're going to do it. And then Fuji has that one screen that flips out, and it has the tilt shift thing like on that XT100. If they put that on that XH2, that camera's going to sell like hotcakes. So let's see what we got here in the chat. Michael's saying, I think Sony will do it. And then Carlos, you saying me too. He said, yeah, you have a point. And then Michael saying, as a film dude, I'm going to use the Rokinon Cine line so the lenses won't bother me. Yeah, that's true. If you're going to be using those lenses with the their manual, then and then too, you'll be behind the camera. I'm mostly in front of the camera, solo shooting and all that stuff. So I have to do all of the different minor tweaks and stuff myself. Drew, you're saying, can Sony lenses use an adapter converter? The Canon lenses can, and that is an advantage to me. Yes. So they have those speed boosters, the Sigma SC11 adapter, I think it's called. But yeah, there are adapters with the electronics in it, as well as different speed boosters that are out there that will give you that functionality. I'm not sure completely how well they work, because I think most people were using that solely because at one point Sony didn't have a whole lot of lenses. So people were coming like from Canon and Nikon or whatever, and they wanted to keep their lenses. So I think early on they may not have been so great, but there have been like several iterations of it now, and it may probably work better. I think the Camera Store TV, before Chris and Jordan left, they did some testing with that. But then again, like I said, it's been a while. So I'd probably YouTube a few videos to see what that's like for now. And then Drew, you saying the XT3000, not the XT, I'm thinking about Fuji. The X3000 is great, but no flip screen. Yeah, and then they have like the Casio old school watch screen on there, like if you went to Family Dollar or Dollar Tree, and it's just like super antiquated. But yeah, I think it's phenomenal. I have debated getting one myself, but that Hero 7 looks great and the user interface looks great. But I want to see what Sony does with that, because I don't think that they're just going to let that sit unless they just completely discontinue that. But they're too close right now to let it go. Let's see here. Okay, I'm trying to catch up. Drew, you saying, yeah, speed booster, that's the word. Thanks. You're very welcome. But yeah, speed booster, if you're trying to take those electronics and it has that glass element in there to, make everything better, then that's the way. Because they, what's the one camera company called? I'm trying to think of where my lens is. Okay, I got to get up one more time. All right, let's see here. So I use an adapter for my 35 millimeter lens. Let's see here. So this part is the lens, and then this part, let me get in closer here. This part is the adapter, but there's no glass element in there. But Viltrox, who makes this, actually just released their own speed booster that will basically turn the M50 into like a full frame camera. And so instead of this 35 millimeter being closer to, maybe the equivalent, more closer to like an 80 or 85 millimeter lens or something thereabout, then it'll actually be closer to a true 35 millimeter. And I think that speed booster only goes for like $100 or so. So that's something I'm definitely going to be picking up, because it just further lets me stretch what the M50 can do. And then it just makes the EOS R more obsolete for my purposes and uses. And so I can use this one if I want closer to like a 50 to 80 type range, or compression or something like that. And I can use this one if I want that additional magnification when I'm using the M50, just like I'm going to take some pictures for my sisters and my family this weekend, and I'm taking the pictures. Use the M50 and this 35 millimeter to get some great shots. But if I actually wanted to have it more closer to a true 35, which would be a wider shot, then I can just use the speed booster and pop that on there. So those are some really great inventions. Michael with the jokes. So Drew, you're saying the other thing to consider doing is wait for the next couple of generations of camera and then buy things like the M50 and the G85 much cheaper. Exactly. And you know what? Honestly, I had I sent the camera equipment away to be evaluated, and I was going to sell all of it, all of my extra stuff. I was going to sell it because I'm like, I can get by. It's very hard to do tutorials and stuff without a great second camera, and I hate using a phone. I recommend starting because you got the phone with you already and just start making content, get through all the stuff. Most people aren't watching your videos in the beginning anyway, so even better to hurry up and get all the bad ones out and get better using your phone. I started on mine, and I worked my way up, but I hate it. And it was a couple shots while the camera was away I had to use with it. I hate using a phone. I hate it. It took me so long to transfer the files. It sucks. Absolutely sucks. But that was one of the reasons. From the time that I last looked at the value of the G85, it was still closer to the price that I paid for it, so I wouldn't take a huge loss off of it. Even if it was like $100 loss, that's better than like a $400 loss. And so with the camera and the lens was going for about $600 by itself. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not finna, receive money for this amount. Yeah, I could sell it myself, but the price is off now. So even now, the M50 and the G85 are closer in price. So it's like $600 that you can get the M50 with a kit lens or the G85 with a kit lens for the same price used, or even like new. It probably costs a little bit more, which is like retail price. I wouldn't pay that, but used, you can get an M50 that just came out earlier this year. You can get the G85, which came out last year, at the same price. It's just like, it's baffling. So the camera body, those prices drop all the time. That's why I was sharing those with the Sony. It's like the lenses will retain their value, but because I didn't actually check the price on the lens, I just checked the camera bodies. Well, the G85 is too cheap now. I'm like, it would be a steal for somebody else to buy it from me. It'd be a complete and total loss for me if I sold it at this point. So it just doesn't make any sense. And so Drew, you're saying, had exactly the same thoughts. Diana, the XT3000 or Hero 7 as a second camera for me, but both are a bit too wide and distorted for my close-up indoor use in addition to the M50. Yeah, that's another thing. It is great. I think they are. I've really been trying not to buy any cameras. It's hard. I think I have a problem. And I like, why? I have the M50. I have the G85. I have even looked Canon point and shoot. I have the ZS70. But like, what else do I need? I can vlog with any of them. I'm just being spoiled at this point. I have a problem. I really do. I need to. That's why I said I'm not buying nothing for 365 days. I'm not buying a new camera. But these deals keep coming around like this. I may have to do something. And so, but yeah, I think they're great. The X3000 or the Hero 7 would be great for vlogging because they're mostly, wide angle shots. But if you are talking about something that is for, you want to kind of zoom in, you kind of lose those functionalities. So, and I'd hate to be between the phone and the camera, because again, you gotta, whether you AirDrop, Dropbox, USB, whatever, it's annoying to get those files off of your phone to your computer, download it then, and then start working on it. It just takes so long. But since the X3000 and the Hero 7 both take memory cards, I'd rather use them than use my phone. And those days I don't feel like carrying the ZS70. I don't even feel like carrying the M50 or the G85 for that matter. It's like a GoPro is about, it's nothing. It's like, it would be small like this. It's just like, let me pull it out my pocket and then you just vlog. So I'm thinking about it too. So I just need to retain myself. Say, look how fast you focus at its people. Yeah, this dual pixel autofocus at its finest. G85 is a no-brainer. It is it's fantastic. Like, I'm taking that tomorrow too, if we're still going to take photos, because it didn't snow now and all that extra stuff. So we'll see. So Drew saying, I would imagine that another consideration is if you have two different cameras, you probably have to do more post-production color correction than if you had two of the same cameras. And that was my biggest hindrance for not wanting to leave Panasonic. I was trying to stay brand loyal and not worry about none of that stuff. I wanted to take the same lens from one camera and put it on another or whatever. I tried out the G7. I tried the GX8. Tried the GX8. I was considering the GX85. I wanted to try to stay with Panasonic because the menu systems are fantastic. The autofocus for photos is fantastic. If you're behind the camera, it works fantastic. It's just having to consciously be aware of your settings and stuff if you're in front of the camera. But once you get dialed into it, you're comfortable. And I didn't want to have to switch. That way I can have just one set of lenses, one set camera brand or whatever, one mount, and it works fine. But that did not work out. The GX8 was too heavy. Near about strained my wrist. The GX7, no image stabilization whatsoever. So all the lenses that you put on there wouldn't work. So it just wouldn't work. Doing any kind of B-roll or whatever, because it's all ridiculous. But with Panasonic having a better color science and Canon having a great color science, the faithful profile and then the natural profile actually match up. So this is a warmer shot because I have it in ambience priority instead of the pure white priority for the white balance. So it gives it a warmer tone. But you can adjust the settings in your camera to specifically how you want and automatically dial it in the camera and create your own custom picture profile. I talked about that in the previous M50 video where you just do your own, not where you do your own, but you upload one. But you can legit create your own custom picture profile and just have that set. And then you don't have to. You have the settings dialed in from one brand to the next, and you don't have to worry about changing any of that stuff. So I don't, if I'm using the Panasonic or I'm using the M50, I put one in natural. I always shoot this one in faithful when I'm doing video for myself, and you can't ever tell the difference. I've used the ZS70 in a lot of different shots, and y'all have never known the difference. So it is, if it's not too drastic, then you don't have to do any of that. I don't do color correction unless it's like really weird, but as much as possible, and I had one of my photographer friends ask me this. He's like, what do you do to get your stuff to look, great, and when you're doing videos for other people and stuff like that? I said, I dial it in the camera as right as possible. I don't try to get anything off. I try to get everything as good as possible in the camera because I don't want to try to get in the computer and fix a bunch of stuff that I could have fixed if I had if I had taken half of a second to look at my settings, do a test video real quick and see where things are, test the audio. So it's just slowing down the speed up for a second and testing a lot of stuff. I test a lot of stuff. I get a silvery kind of look on the G85 at different times if the white balance is slightly off. So just knowing how to do that, it's setting your own preset. A lot of people sell LUTs and all that stuff. You can make your own. I have different ones set for different environments that I'm going to be shooting in or something like that. So I can just drop that LUT on there and it automatically adjusts for that room. Like the church is different than at, my assistant pastor's house in one specific area of his living room or something. So everything is different when it comes to that. But you can just do your own stuff. So that definitely helps. So Michael's saying we're all spoiled. But it's a good time to be spoiled. These are fantastic deals. I just want that whole bookshelf just full of cameras. I don't even know why. I wanted to buy a cinema camera. I have a problem. For real, I have no reason to buy a cinema camera, but I want one. I started to buy that Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro. I just want one. He said, Diana, you have gas gear acquisition syndrome. And I even did a video about it. My videos don't even help me. They don't help me. I need to be on one of those commercials right around Hallmark. one of those channels, be on the Hallmark channel for the holidays. So people can donate to my cause to help me out with these challenges because I have a problem. Do my own commercial. So Carlos is saying, I know what you mean. Let's see here. Alrighty. Okay. Carlos saying, you drive me nuts with all the camera models. Okay. So GX8, the TX56 surpassed the spectrum of the HY78 aperture. My God. I apologize. I told you I have a problem. Okay. So let's do this. Let's bring it back. Okay, so I know this stuff because nobody explained anything, or did they explain it clearly when I was first getting started trying to just learn about DSLRs. It took me a year to actually even buy one because I felt like it was too above my head to just deal with any of that stuff. So I just kept using my phone and my little Canon point and shoot camera. But it's just honestly, I got a little notebook from the dollar store. And I was like, what am I trying to do here? What kind of videos do I want to create? And who do I want to learn by? And who is confusing the heck out of me? And let's stop watching them right now. So, yeah, there are a lot of cameras out there. Thankfully, all the ones that I've talked about, I've shown on the channel. But the GX8 is what they call like a rangefinder style of a camera. I don't know why. But the only thing I cared about was it was Panasonic. It had a flip-out screen. And it had image stabilization. So I just was looking for certain requirements. And then that's how certain ones would kind of click for me, like, oh, this is that model, or this is that one. I still don't really get Fuji. I don't really understand them that well. But I do get Panasonic, and I do understand Canon. Nikon, I don't know anything about them. So it's just really those two, and then a couple that I know other than that. But it's just because I watched a lot of YouTube videos to learn the different ones. It just kind of takes some time. So you don't have to get this in depth with it. That's just my nerdiness and my willingness to learn about this whole thing so that I could help people with it. You know, like when I'm explaining videos, I don't try to go through all the rundown like I just did with all those different camera brands, because at the end of the day, who cares? Like, you don't care about that stuff. It's like, what difference do it make? But if I'm just comparing, I primarily talk about the two cameras now, Canon M50 and the Panasonic G85, which is right back there. Those are the two ones that matter the most to me right now. Other than that, don't worry about the rest of them. They're not, just look for certain requirements. Once it meets the certain requirements, don't worry about the rest until it's time for you to upgrade or something breaks or whatever. And you saying I did not know that one could transfer those color profiles. The picture profiles, the ones that I downloaded from EOS HD, he has some that are specifically created for Canon cameras, some that are specifically created for Sony cameras, and that's how that works. But there is something when it comes to adjusting, and you'd have to kind of like look in the book, instruction manual. There's usually like an advanced one or somewhere in the back of the manual or whatever. And then it'll kind of tell you about adjusting certain things or whatever. But for the most part, I don't try to get that in detail, in depth and detail in the camera. I just try to create a LUT for that specific camera to kind of adjust stuff a little bit, so I don't always have to remember what did I change the last time. So that's all I do. And I used Filmora up until I think earlier this year, and it's fantastic. And they let you save your own preset. So I'll just name it exactly what it is, G85, Panasonic G85, for when I want to match it with a Canon camera. I'll completely name it exactly what it is, so I don't have to think twice about it. So you can just save. You can do the same thing for Final Cut Pro editing system and all of that stuff. So you can do whatever you want with that. But that's probably what I would do instead of trying to change stuff in the camera. Just try to get it as close to look about the same in the camera. Other than that, you can probably change the rest, minor stuff in the, just create your own preset or whatever. And Carlos, you saying the other day I took your advice with the triangle stuff you shown, Diana. Very nice. It worked for me. Awesome. The exposure triangle. That was another one that was difficult for me because everybody talks in this camera speak stuff. And I'm like, okay, so how does that work in relation to me getting the video to look like I want it to look like? And that's essentially what I did. A lot of stuff was my little journal. And I'm like, to get slow motion videos that look like this, and I specifically named like that YouTube video to reference, then they said do these settings. And then I just take a weekend and test it and try it out. And I'm like, why didn't it work? Or what's different about this? Or do a lot of test shots in here. And like, okay, how do I get it to look like this? So that when I did the when I went to go do an interview for my friend who was doing an event in October, I did a interview for her, and I wanted that to look very professional, and have really good quality, better than even my YouTube videos, because I don't want to be grading on all that stuff and all that for my YouTube videos. And it worked out really well because I had already tried and tested and experimented with that stuff a whole lot. So just do what you can, and it takes time. It just takes time. Just keep testing and trying it and experimenting. But what you're going to be teaching is more important than the exposure triangle. So, yeah. He said, Mike, you want to buy it so you can give it to me? I do want to give away a camera. I really, really do. I want to build the channel up to that. I want to build my disposable income in the business up to the point to where I can afford to do something like that. But that is something I really, really want to do. I really do. Yeah, I'm doing my first steps with that triangle thing. It'll work out. It will work out. It just, like I said, once you get it set in the camera, honestly, what I did, I set it and forget it. Okay, I pulled an infomercial move on it. I watched Sean Cannell's, which is my brother from another mother. I pulled his video about his Canon DSLR settings video, and I saw what he had, and I just left it there. Other than adjusting like the ISO for it to be brighter or darker, I just left everything else alone because I couldn't remember what I changed anyway. So, and then I would go to like the history museum, do vlogs that are never to be uploaded, what I call throwaway videos. I just would do vlogs and edit it and all that stuff and try stuff out. So that's all it is. Just put yourself in a situation where you're, going at a botanical garden or some kind of event and you're recording some stuff. You may find some clips that you want to keep and use in the future or trash the whole thing. But, have those videos that you plan to upload regardless, and then have your throwaway videos because it's super helpful to fully edit the video, not just look at it on the back of the camera, but just like, okay, I'm testing this out. What does this do? What does this do? And I would read out, I'm testing this. I have it on this setting and it looks weird and I'm not sure or whatever. So that's super helpful. Michael said, I'm nerdy and I actually care. LumaFusion is great on the go. Indeed it is. So LumaFusion, for anybody that doesn't know, and it will probably wrap up the stream because I'm about to hit that hour mark. Not that it's a problem, but I know sometimes if you're watching on the replay, it can be maybe boring, but I appreciate everybody here tonight. Y'all are the bee's knees. So anybody that doesn't know what LumaFusion is, that's a video editing application for iOS devices like iPhones and iPads. And it's basically like a Final Cut Pro on a tablet. So I admire that. I don't have an iPhone or a tablet, not a tablet, iPad, but I admire that program immensely. Okay, let me see here. Alrighty, so Drew, you saying, by the way, Diana, congratulations on your steady and impressive increase in subscriptions and in establishing a nice community here. Thanks for that. Drew, it is my humble pleasure to have a community that is developed with people like you guys. And I'm being so serious right now. It is my pleasure to do that because if it wasn't for you guys, the channel would not exist. It just wouldn't. And I think I finally And that's the thing, like with being an entrepreneur, you're always experimenting. And there are times when I'm just like, I just should quit and I should just stop this. And I don't even know what, and then it's like you get that idea and it's just like, I'm going to do this. And then it's just, the trying and the trying this. And then it's just like, this isn't me, or this isn't, what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a Marie Forleo. I'm not, Sonny Leonard-Duzzi, and those are all fantastic women. But it's just like, that's not who I am. I like saying the bee's knees. I like Popeye's chicken. And daggone it, I like strawberry jelly better than grape jelly. Those are the things that I like to talk about. I like white on white cake. Not the whipped cream stuff, but the real buttercream stuff. I love it. And so it's just like stuff like that you think nobody cares about or is weird and quirky or whatever, and it very well can be. But, it's like I want it to be me. And if that meant that I grew slower, then so be it. And I remember early on starting to build a community, and even an email community that was stagnant. Nobody would ever take action on anything. I would barely get open rates in my emails. Nobody would click on anything. Nobody was buying anything. I was not getting a whole lot of coaching clients, like at all. Nothing was working. And I'm just like, do I suck, or is the messaging suck, or what is going on here? And even now at different times, I think like, what do I need to do differently, or what should I stop doing? What do I need to increase doing, or whatever? And that's why I've done so many videos. I refuse to quit, It's like you have moments where you quit. You do have days where you quit, but it's not quitting completely. And so I'm really excited to see, like, every day I see somebody that has subscribed, and I just look at my phone and I'm like, all right, praise the Lord. And, I'm like, what do they want? And that's every time I see a new subscriber, I'm like, what do they want? What do they expect? How can I really help them? And when I hit the M50 series and I was thinking it over, just in one of those modes, like, how can I refine this? How can I make this better? I'm like, most people ain't gonna get to J85. I'm like, they don't need one neither. It's stressful enough with the autofocus if you're new to camera stuff. I'm like, let me try this M50 because I think I can use this for myself too, but let me do something that's going to be great for them and it's going to be helpful for them. And so that being the case, and then I'm seeing that it's really helpful for them, it's completely changed like the trajectory of my business, and the email list has continued to skyrocket. The engagement for a lot of different things, and even like the focus and refinement on my general coaching business in general has changed. It's not just about, helping somebody set up and structure a business, because that's essentially boring. Nobody hates that. And I personally don't want to talk about taxes all day long. It's just like, but if you can get your vision visible, if you can let your true self come out on camera, and like I was saying earlier, your thing that you're doing, whatever you're creating your channel about, deserves to be seen, because your passion and purpose is important, and it has a work to do in the world, whatever it is, whether that's helping divorced women find love again, whether that's helping somebody in math feel more confident and competent when they're talking about numbers, whether that is helping somebody to realize their vision on camera, and you're a filmmaker and you're helping them to create something. So your vision deserves to be visible. And once I really hit that nail, like in my own heart and just in my own efforts, it completely changed everything. So it's not even about, just the structuring, building the grow, no, that sucks, but being visible, being seen, being yourself is so much more powerful for me. And I think that's something that's really resonated. So I'm so excited about just where things are going. And there will be a giveaway coming up, so it won't be a camera. I can tell you that much, unfortunately. But there will be a giveaway because I'm not waiting to hit 1,000, and I'm not waiting for YouTube to do their stuff or whatever. So there's some other things that are coming down the pipeline just to celebrate, not just, my success, but just the success overall for the whole, for the community, and just to give back to you guys as well. So I really, really appreciate that. So Carlos is saying that's true, Drew. All hail, Diana. Really nice words. I'm a huge fan. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Michael saying, I love strawberry. See, Michael, see, I knew we was some kinfolk. Strawberry, because, okay, side note. I've been starting wars and fights on Facebook about food. Like I said, Qdoba is better than Chipotle. And I'll say strawberry jelly is better than, or really a strawberry preserves for me too, not just jelly. But strawberry preserves is better than grape jelly. People losing their mind, so it's super cool. And Carlos, you saying I've been treated like trash just because I'm a noob in photography. I've never had the chance or the money to have a camera, only, with 50 years old. And I completely get you. I think we all individually look at our age and where we thought we would be at 17, and then 25 and 30 and 35 and so on up. And it's just like, whether every year is a disappointment or not, or you're like, I'm close, but I'm still not there. I think it's very different than the average person. I think that, and I think about this a lot, and that's why I specifically wanted to create my business for working entrepreneurs. You're not there yet, but at the same time, you're in the process of. And if you can catch hold of that phrasing, I'm in the process of, not that I haven't done this yet, or this isn't this or whatever, but I'm in the process of. Process is movement, it's progress, and it's progressing towards a chief aim. And so it's just like, that was one thing, like when I started talking about camera stuff on a level that people can understand, because that was the level that I understood when I first got started and stuff. I didn't like the clicks, the photography clips, the video clips and all that stuff. And just like, like you were talking about earlier when I was going off on a tangent about camera stuff, it's like you talking over my head. I don't even know what you're talking about. And I had to Google definitions and read boring forums to just get the basic understanding, because the knowledge and information just was not out there. Not like it is even just within this past year. And so don't feel bad about that. I just think and I think that's one of the things that's great about YouTube is finding your right community. I didn't find any channels like mine. I didn't find anybody that was talking about the stuff like I talk about. And it's not saying how much, better than I am of other people compared to other people, but even more so reason why you need to be your own unique self. And the things that are about you that are so great also connects with somebody else. You just haven't met them yet. And so don't feel bad. I think that's one thing that can be true of everybody in our community here, is more or less we're all on the same page. Definitely me being the guide in this community, I'm a little bit further along, but I'm not so far removed that I don't understand those same things, because I was frustrated for a long time when it came to camera stuff. And like I said, I just be like, I'm done. I get pumped up and come home and do a video. The video sucks, and it's just like, crap, it lost focus. And like, what happened? I don't even know what to do, and this, that, or whatever. But I just take it one question at a time. But just knowing that you're in the process of keeps you from feeling like a failure. And then knowing that you're in a community of like-minded people in the same spot with the same questions, we'll all get there together. And I think that that's one of the things that'll be great. And I look forward to people growing together in the community as well. So, and then he's saying, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, there comes this girl with a huge-hearted energy and personality that supports me and helps me. Thank you. Said my English is not good, but I'm sure that y'all got what I meant. I understood everything of what you understand, because you know what? Everybody that speaks English as a primary language does not say everything well. So you're on board with everybody else. But you know what? I appreciate that you feel connected, to the community, to me, that you appreciate and love what I'm doing here. And I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful that you're here. And like I said, if you guys ever need anything, I'm here for you. That's why I can't wait to do. I'm trying to schedule the right timing when I'm going to do my next batch day of recording videos. This last time I did 17. I'm not doing that many in real live stream. But what that'll be is basically, it'll probably run for maybe 2 hours, where I have the camera sitting off in the corner I'll have my phone so I can still see the chat and stuff. But then you can actually see what my real recording process looks like. You see my notes, how I structure my videos, how many times I mess up, how many times I sneeze for whatever reason. I'll start, just whatever. How many times it takes me to restart and redo a video to get the takes right and then answer your questions along the way. So you guys get a chance to experience what my recording days look like, or get some insight into it rather. And then you can ask questions live, or like, how do you know, or how do you keep up with what you're saying, or whatever, and stuff like that. And I try to keep my stuff as simple as possible, and all that good stuff. But that's something I'm looking forward to, so you can keep a lookout for that in real life stream as well. Michael saying, we love you and your show, Diana. Appreciate it. Hey, I love you guys too. I appreciate it. Michael, you saying I'm in the same boat, authentically yourself. Can't be nobody else but yourself. You say, yes, I'm having my shot and making the best. And I believe you're going to do fantastic. Let's see here. Alrighty. Connect and have some camera strawberry jam. We'll have a meetup and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on me. How about that? You know what? I would love to do a meetup, like a live meetup at some point. I just don't know where. And then I just don't know where. So I'm thinking, so they have these, like the Vid Summit, or like all these different events or whatever. And probably next year I'll get a chance to travel to more events that maybe if they have a reasonably priced event come up or something like that, do a meetup. If anybody else is going to the event, do a meetup. We won't have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but just like a cool meetup so everybody get a chance to actually meet everybody, and hang out. I think that'll be cool. But guys, I'm going to call it there. We're right at, a little few minutes over than an hour. But I just want to say I appreciate, love you guys so very much. You have been a fantastic community. Also, if you're watching this on the replay, to any of the new subscribers, if you made it to the end, welcome to the community. I'm glad that you are here. I don't know what else to say after that. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, final thoughts, anything like that, we're going to be having our 2019 annual peanut butter and jelly meetup for the Bees Knees Hall of Fame winner for the, I'm just kidding, but that would be great if I had my own event. Who's going to win the Bees Knees award and be placed into the Bees Knees Hall of Fame? I'm just going to take that too far. Next thing you know, I'll have a baseball cap for when the spring rolls around. Something around Entree Woman TV and the Bees Knees being a thing. So here's a great idea. So Drew's saying, what about a virtual meetup if people cannot make it to an in-person one? That'd be great. So here's the fantastic thing. So with the platform I just switched my website to, and I still got to change and update the copy, website copy for what I'm currently doing in my business. It gives me the ability to have a membership area where I can host online courses and I can do live streams and all of that stuff within like the members area. And so, of course, yeah, I have my paid courses and that's one thing. But what I have been considering is for my Entree Insiders, is having where they can sign in and it's like a free access system for that community, or I guess anybody even in the YouTube community, to be able to access that and then have, like a hangout there, and then you can meet different people or whatever, like a Google Hangout almost or whatever. So I don't know if that's a thing that everybody's interested in. We can definitely do that, and then actually can, get you on camera, voice your concerns or whatever, or just whatever, hang out, just have a group conversation. So that'd be pretty cool. So fantastic idea, Drew. We're gonna have to work that one out. But excuse me. So Google Hangouts would probably be best for that. So he said, I'm in Brazil. If we ever try to find a midpoint, we will have to go to the Caribbean. Hey, I'm not. I will go to the Caribbean. I have no problems writing that one off as a tax business deductible right there. I don't have no problems about that whatsoever. Yeah, the Bees Knees Hall of Fame, it's coming to a theater New Year. Sounds great if I can afford it, Drew says. So We'll probably do some kind of digital meetup. I'm down for that. That sounds really great. So we'll definitely get some kind of community hangout live and stuff like that. Like I said, I think Google Hangouts probably would be the best bet for that, or even for one of these Friday live days. When I did the live stream for Dr. Taryn Lupo on his channel with his community, he was able to bring new people in, and we were still just using the regular YouTube streaming platform. So you sign into your Google account, and then you can just do a live stream. So we could do that if you guys wanted to, but if you want it private, then we could do it that way, or what have you. So I'm down for that. But guys, you all have been absolutely fantastic. And as always, if you guys have any other questions or anything like that, you can definitely drop that in the comments down below. But as always, my friends, I encourage you to live with passion, and I will see you guys on the next video.